for one gentleman to come back.
Oh, yeah,
Michael's on the phone? All right. And it looks like there are a couple extra people that are signing in. Hello, folks there in Facebook Live land. I hope you are having a great Friday. Hope you guys are having a great Friday, by the way. We'll get started here in a minute. We'll wait for everybody to sign in. Did you sign in, sir?
Yeah.
All right, good. Good.
Can you close any of the escrow? So one after the other, pretty much?
No, they all did close all two first, and then
Oh, so you're almost done.
the next, no, there's four more. So it's two first, like on, I don't know, Friday, and then the other two on Monday. Yeah. Cause
Your best
we
year
ran across
ever.
the beach.
This is your best year ever.
Yeah.
Your units?
Yeah. They were all units, four unit properties.
Oh, cool. What, was it like, one for the living one and with the other not, or are they?
No,
investors?
Yeah.
So we're
Guys
investors.
just, yeah. He just wanted to- No, he has his own.
Regular pro?
No,
No,
there's no wrinkles.
Right.
I heard nothing on China. Implement that there, but I don't do the tax.
This one.
Morning.
Oh, wait.
I can talk about something, I don't know what though. I know it's
How's what?
She's good.
The kids?
She's back.
She was sick.
Oh yeah, she had a fever for a few days. Turned out to be an ear infection.
Oh,
She was hot. She was too young.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Does everybody here work at the same office?
We four, yes.
Oh, excellent. Awesome. It's good to know that everybody in one office likes to show up and work together for better learning. Do you
Yeah, we
guys?
were threatened, that's why we.
What was that, sir?
We were threatened.
You were threatened. Excellent. I like it. I like that because the threat was good and then it got you here.
And he's
It must be working.
responsible, he's
He's
responsible for that.
responsible. Excellent. Are you the broker that runs the
Yes,
office?
there you
Excellent.
go.
Even better.
It worked.
It worked. Get here or else I take another 5-10% off your commission. Excellent. I like that.
I was enticed.
All right. Hey, what was that?
I don't know.
We were threatened, he was enticed.
He was enticed. Excellent. Well, just a quick introduction of who I am. My name's Anthony. I work with Orange County Association of Realtors, Orange County Realtors, but I'm also working with your association, Rancho Southeast Association of Realtors, for your education. You know, I'll be teaching you guys all your tech. Gentleman in the back has been through a couple of our classes that we've been able to offer to you as members just recently. It was zip forms that you said that you attended.
And the auto signature.
The digital signing, the digital signing class.
Right.
Which, by the way, if you haven't attended that class and you want to learn a little bit more about zip forms, we do have a class in May on how to utilize from the beginner level class on all the bells and whistles to the intermediate class of how to actually digitally sign documents using either DocuSign or digitally. And of course, we also have an advanced course that day using all the advanced tools and tips to basically have a better interaction for your transaction, okay? So what we're gonna go over today, and by the way, I've been doing trainings for over 10 years. I actually work at the association, or been working with the association since 2002, when we first went over to the Super Key system, the display key system, if any of you remember that little black key that you had to stick in the cradle every night to update, right? I also work with the MLS, so I'll give training and things like that about MLS and all of its fun products and things like that. And of course, what I'm also love to do is give training on your technology. Basically how to make you the 21st century agent. And what I mean by that is to start going paperless in your business. Though I gave you sheets of paper today to write down notes, maybe not get rid of paper fully, but at least start using your technology for your real, a little bit more efficiently for your real estate business. from social media marketing to video marketing to ZipForms mobile, and of course, if you have a tablet device, how to utilize that a little bit better for your real estate business, okay? What we're gonna focus on today are some of your member benefits offered to you by Rancho Southeast Association of Realtors, and these benefits will include, or that we're gonna go over and touch on today, are things like REMINE for target marketing. We're gonna also go over InfoSparks to basically look at MLS actual statistics of what's going on in your business to help you become the market expert. We're also going to touch on or go over RPR, Realtor Property Resource, which is going to allow you to look at tax data for any property listed and unlisted in the United States to be able to create CMAs and other reports. And of course, if we've got time today, I'm going to try to touch on your other member benefit of Bried. Bried is a recent product that allows you to send out a request to your client, specifically your sellers, to be able to fill out forms like the TDS and the SBQ very quickly and easily, that it can also be merged with your ZipForms account. So we're going to hopefully give in some time today to touch on that, okay? So what we're going to do in part one of our class today is we're going to talk about target marketing using your free member benefit called REMINE. Now REMINE looks at information, and I like to think of it as realist tax records on steroids. You're going to be able to look at a lot of information, especially about a property, to be able to look at the tax data information, but you're going to be given so much more information than realist tax records could ever give anybody. Anybody here use realist tax records? Most of us, right? Great. Anybody here do marketing? 3 people, excellent. 3 out of my 7, right? So, what do the rest of you guys do? You do nothing? No, you do some sales, right? Right, but you have to market yourself, right? All right, good. Now, part of your marketing, I'm sure most of us probably are market neighborhoods the traditional agent way, where you pick out a neighborhood of about 1,000 homes, then you get addresses for everybody, then you begin to do your mail postcards and your mail drops and all this other stuff, and before you know it, you're spending $1,500 to $2,000 a month to send out mailers, right? Now, statistically, over the course of a few years, they've looked at this and they've analyzed that a return on that investment is about a year and a half, or a year to a year and a half of marketing that way. Now, anybody here want to wait a year to a year and a half before you see any fruition from your marketing? No. This is where we're going to utilize REMINE. Now, REMINE will allow you to look at certain things in that same 1,000 neighborhood area to be able to target market a little bit specifically. So instead of throwing mud up against the wall where you hope some of it sticks, we can now maybe, depending on certain algorithms, certain things that we choose, certain filters, that we can now throw the actual dart and hit the bullseye each and every time, okay? Now this will take a little practice, but today what we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple of methods of how to utilize REMINE to better service your marketing, okay? That way you can make your marketing dollars more efficient. Anybody have any questions on that? Anybody like that?
Yeah.
Good. By the way, I am recording today's session, so by all means, if I do go over something too fast, because I do tend to talk a little quickly because I did have a cup of coffee today, please stop me, raise your hand. I'll be more than happy to stop, go over something again. Also, I will be able to, because I think on the sign-in sheet, the sign-in sheet, that you do have your email address there. If not, make sure that it's written there. That way I can email you a copy of the video by Monday, okay? All right, so to access REMINE very easily, we can do it, or simply we have to log into the MLS system. So log into crmls.org, log into your MLS account, and we can access REMINE in one of 2 ways. The first method is here under the external links widget on our home screen. Here under the external links widget, we can scroll down to where it says solutions and click on the choice REMINE here. Or if we go to the green tabs at the very top of the screen here and we click on the links tab, When we click on the links tab here, this will give us access to all of our third-party member benefits offered to us by CRMLS and RSAOR. If we scroll down this list, we're going to come to where it says REMINE. When we click on REMINE, REMINE is going to open up, or a new window will open up. We're going to say yes, continue on to REMINE, because again, we don't have to worry about doing any extra special logins. And when we go to REMINE, first time we're going to see a giant map. And actually, it looks like they just changed it to tell us what's been happening daily across the county. Now, what we can do at this point is jump over to where it says Discover. Now, one thing I do find a little annoying with REMINE is that they seem to keep updating itself every week. So please bear with me. But here what we see is a map, and of course we see all these properties. What we want to see, if we have to, zoom in on the map until you see these little blue dots. These little blue dots are properties. Okay? So here what we can do is look at listed and unlisted property information. You'll notice that near the top here, we have two filters automatically applied, active and off market. Off market just means these properties are currently not listed with any agent. Doesn't matter if they were expired, doesn't matter if they were canceled or never ever listed before. They're off market. I tend to drop these filters right away. So what I'm going to do is come over here to the statuses, and I'm just going to click on the X's to clear all that out, because I want my map to be clear, free and clear for me to be able to do what I need to do. Now at this point, maybe I need to jump over to the neighborhood I'm going to be marketing in. How we jump to that neighborhood is with this bar here at the very top, the little search bar that says address, zip code, school, or neighborhood, right? I can type anything here. Maybe I type in Cerritos. Now I'm given a list of choices. In this case, I want to go to Cerritos, California. Now I see here on the map a giant outline of the entire city of Cerritos. Or if I wanted to, I could actually focus on one particular neighborhood in Cerritos by just tapping in at least one address in that neighborhood. And again, I'm just going to zoom in here until I start to see the little blue dots in my neighborhood. Now, I don't know if up here in Cerritos you have tracts or subdivisions. Do you guys have a lot of that up here? Like boundaries or anything like the Seabreeze community or the, Cerritos, Auto Square community or whatever like that. Anybody have anything like that here? Or in LA? Where do you guys market?
Our office is located in Lakewood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does Lakewood have any communities that have certain street boundaries of that community? Like maybe it's a gated community or anything like that?
They do, but I can't.
You can't think of anything else. Okay.
Cerritos does as well.
Okay. In case you have something like that here, because I know like in South Orange County, you've got things like in Irvine, you've got the Turtle Rock, and of course you've got the gated community of a Turtle Rock community and stuff like that. A lot of times,
There's a Shadow Park.
Shadow Park, okay, perfect example. So you probably have certain street boundaries that define that community, right? So what we're going to do here is now define that community by using our drawing tools here in the middle.
Excuse me, I pulled up Long Beach, but I don't see the little dots.
So you got to zoom in. So in this case, because of your touchscreen, pinch and zoom in a little bit until you start to see the dots.
No dots.
Yeah, you're still zoomed too far out. So here, when we start to zoom in, let it refresh a little bit. If not, we zoom in a little bit more. Because right about now, there you go.
Oh, so you can zoom.
You have to zoom in fairly close. Ideally, you want to start to see the actual individual street names to be able to see these little blue dots, right?
Those are actual homes.
These are actual homes. Now, by the way, this will show you commercial and residential property information, okay? if I were to click on one of these little blue dots just real quickly, just to show you, it gives me that property information right here. Now this just paraphrases that this property is off market, its estimated price, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, and of course address. But we're going to dive down into this a little bit more. Now, maybe I wanted to outline my neighborhood. Maybe I have a neighborhood of about 500 or 1,000 properties, right? What I want to do at the top middle here of the map, I want to utilize one of my 3 drawing tools. Here, if I wanted to draw a circle, I would click on the circle, come on my map to find my starting point of my circle, if I can find my mouse. There we go. Click and hold down with my mouse and pull out. Now when I let go of my mouse button, the circle now appears and everything outside that circle disappears, right? From here, if I wanted to draw a square or a rectangle, click on the square or rectangle choice, find my starting side, click and hold down with my mouse and pull down and out, and then let go. And now I've got my choices here again. And of course, maybe certain areas aren't in perfect straight lines. Certain areas aren't in perfect circles. So this is where the polygon comes in. Polygon allows you to draw multiple angles to really hug those streets, okay? So what I could do here is now click on the polygon and now find my starting point and now click around the various different streets to draw my angles to get all the way back to start. So now we can really hug those street boundaries, okay, to see what we need. Now, how do I know in this neighborhood, whoops, mouse is a little touchy for me today. How do I know in this neighborhood who's ready to list now, who's ready to list later? You know, maybe I need to see the home prices, you know, when somebody originally bought their home for to see if they may have equity. How do I define that here in these homes? Well, over here on the map, we have filters over here to the left. Now, most of these filters are free and included with your free member benefit. There are some of these filters that are not. Now, unfortunately, the paid filters that REMINE wants you to pay for are now mixed and mingled in with all the free. But I'm just going to show you these filters. Now, these filters are going to be great because now what we can do is start to point out or pick out certain properties in this neighborhood to be able to market to them in a certain way. Like, as an example, ownership time. Why would ownership time be an important filter for me? Anybody? Why is it important to know how long someone's owned their home?
Because the longer the ownership, the more chances the debt is low and more equity.
Possibly, correct. What about the empty nesters?
Selling to
Maybe wanting to or needing to sell it in order to go into their next property, right? Well, here what I can do is I'll click ownership time. And now I can say I want to market to people who have owned their homes between 15 and 20 years or say 20 or more. Now what I can do is I can apply multiple filters. And now when I say apply, now the map all of a sudden adjusts to show me only those properties that have been owned for 15 or more years. Not too bad, right? Now my marketing to them may be a little bit different than say somebody who's who owns their home for less than 5, who may not be ready to list right now, right? Besides the ownership time, I'm going to skip over the skeleton score because I want to show you guys that one later. Is equity? No. Absentee, I know, is a paid one. Flood zone's a paid one. Land use is a paid one. Airbnb. Here with REMINE, we can see what properties are in the neighborhood that are Airbnbs. So if I click on this choice, if there are any Airbnbs, I'll see what their prices are.
What are Airbnb?
Ah, short-term rentals. So maybe I am an absentee owner and I like to rent out my cottage periodically to somebody who may need a room to stay for a week while they're here in California. So instead of them paying hotel prices, they now want to live in a nice home, right? So let's see if I can zoom out here and see if any Airbnbs appear. And I don't see anybody with an Airbnb. Oh, wait a minute. Nope, that's a highlighted property. Let's click on Airbnb again. See if any come up. So I don't see anybody here in Cerritos renting out their home. But at least that's a choice. Maybe you were in Malibu, or looking at Malibu to market. Probably a higher chance to see Airbnbs, which now means what? Maybe I go and market to that investor a little bit differently, like, hey, would you like to either sell your Airbnb because maybe it's not successful or you're not finding it troublesome or whatever, or hey, would you like to try to buy other properties to convert them into short-term rentals? So now we can market to those types of people a little bit differently, right? Another one, mortgage rate. Why would mortgage rate be important? Well, everybody is familiar with refinancing, right? Remember at one point in time we were under 4, but do you think that maybe some people in this neighborhood didn't get a chance to refi? Here, what we can do is come over to the mortgage rate, and now I can say, show me in my neighborhood that I'm about to market people that are paying more than 6% in their mortgages. Now we've got quite a few people here. Now maybe my marketing to these people will be a little bit different. Maybe I go with my lender representative. Maybe we go and door knock and we ask, now we have a nice conversation with somebody, right? We're not trying to list the property, but maybe, hey, is there a particular reason why you didn't get a chance to refi your home? Did you miss out on the refinancing opportunities when we were under 4%? Or maybe at the time that you couldn't refi, maybe you can refi now. How can I be helping you with your home? Anybody like that? Kind of cool, right? Besides the mortgage rate, maybe I need to show them mortgage age. Maybe I need to think about the mortgage age. Why is mortgage age good? Longer they paid it, more equity they probably have, less they own, right? But there is a cool filter here with the mortgage age that's super neat. If I can get to it. There we go. Whoops. Maybe I want to find people who have no mortgage. So here I can select no mortgages in my neighborhood. And now when I select this, look at all those people that actually own their homes outright. Now what's my marketing campaign to them? When you bought the home, did you think that you might not have equity or you might have equity? Right? Maybe we actually apply multiple filters in this case. Maybe I want to see those people that have no mortgage and currently have owned their home for more than 20 years. So when I apply these two filters, now we narrow it down even more. So you've owned your home, maybe you're an empty nester, maybe you want to sell this home and reinvest in something else, or you ever think about downsizing? Maybe it's just you and your spouse, and now you need to move out of your 4-bedroom, 5-bath home, and maybe you want to go to something a little bit more convenient for you. Did you realize how much equity that you have? By the way, I think there's another one here that I like. Let's go back down. Mortgage rate, mortgage age, last sales price. Love this one. Last sales price. I want to know what someone bought their property for. Maybe I've done a CMA in this neighborhood, right? Because again, why do I market the property or market the neighborhood? I want to see, or I obviously want to get a lot of money, right? People moving in out of neighborhoods, turnover ratio, this, that, and the other, home prices may be going up, right? Maybe in this neighborhood, I've done a CMA, and I see that the average sales price has been going for about $800 to $950. Well, maybe now with this, I go to the last sales price and I say, show me those people that brought their home between $250,000 to $500,000, right? So if I now market to them saying, hey, by the way, if you bought your home between 250 and 500,000 and homes are selling in your area for 950, you might think you might get some equity out of your home. So here's a great way of being able to start to filter things. Anybody like that? Yeah, it's a little different, right? Now, the last filter that we'll talk about super quickly. Oh, by the way, we can also look at cash buyers who bought their home all cash. There is a filter for this. This will show me dollar signs. So here we've got several homes that were bought all cash. If they were bought all cash, they probably don't have a loan, which is kind of cool. But the last one that we'll go over is sales score. Now, sales score rates their likelihood to sell. Now, they usually say, okay, high sales score is anybody who may be thinking about selling their home between 0 to 6 months from now. Medium, between 7 months and 14 months. And then high, 14 months and older. Now, how do they figure out sales score? Well, this is where all these crazy algorithms come into play. What REMINE looks at are algorithms based on their social media posts, their purchasing habits, like if they're buying diapers and cribs all of a sudden that they weren't buying before, plus anything that's been recorded at the county or on public record, like divorce, birth, death, things like that. So what a sales score basically indicates to you is the likelihood of someone selling. So here, what we are going to do in this 1,000 neighborhood, we want to see people who are more than likely ready to list now and 6 months from now. When I click on that choice and I say apply, here are the homes in this area that are ready to list between now and 6 months from now. So what are you as an agent willing to do? Are you willing just to mail them and wait a year and a half before they decide, or probably then list with another agent? Or what are you going to do?
Oh, do it right away.
Call them or door knock. I saw the young lady in the back actually hold up her hand and knock the door, right? Maybe we knock on that door. Hi, how you doing? My name's Anthony. Are you going through a major life-changing event? Maybe you're actually just now getting married, and maybe your wife that you're just getting married to is pregnant, and you need to upsell your home, and you need to get a bigger home. How can I help you with your life event? Yes, sir.
On the sales score, I just see low, medium, and high.
Right. So I choose high. High says they're ready to list between now and 6 months from now.
Gotcha.
So here in this neighborhood, maybe I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 homes that I'm actually going to drive by and door knock pretty regularly to try to talk to somebody to get in the door to convince them it's a good time to list. Maybe I apply those other filters like, oh, I don't know, if they have no mortgage. Or maybe I would say, let's see how many people actually have a high mortgage rate. And I see there's one person here who's paying more than 6% mortgage, and that they're probably wanting to sell between now and 6 months from now. Now my marketing strategy to this property is going to be a little bit different or unique in such a way. Hi, how you doing? Unique in such a way that maybe we can have a nice, intelligent conversation, right? Are you going through a major life-changing event? If you're paying more than 6% of your mortgage, how can I help you transition during this life change to make your home a little bit easier to afford? That's okay, I'll shut it. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So our marketing is going to be a little bit different. Now, what happens now after I find the homes that I need and I want to market to? And let's go back to that high sales score. What I'm now going to do is track them. Over here to the top right corner, we're going to click on track all. So with the track feature, for your free service, you can track up to 100 properties at any given time. When I click on track, we're going to now see these homes start. Now, to see or do things with this track list, we're going to come back over here to the left to where it says track and click. Now what I'm going to see super quickly, property address, owner information, estimated value, estimated equity, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size, and of course their sales score. Okay? Now what do I do with this list? Well, we can do several things with this list. First thing that we may want to do is I want to mail them information, right? Physically mail them. What I can now do is select the properties here in this list, and now my choices at the top says print mailing labels. When I click on print mail labels, I can now say property owner's name, or given the choice, the current resident. I can say for the address, send it to the property address itself, or in maybe some cases, maybe some of these people are absentee owners. So maybe now I'll select instead their tax billing address. And of course, we've got here the label type. We've got the Avery mailing label templates that we can export this information to. Now, does this mean that I have to do this each and every time? Yes, but why? We don't need to do that actually. What I'm going to do now is after I select my mailing label type and I say print, what's going to open up is Word. Here we've got Word that opens up, and now what I'm going to do, instead of print right away, I'm going to actually save this as a document. It's already formatted in the Avery mailing label list format. So now I save a copy onto my computer. So now I have a list of 100 properties that I'm marketing in this neighborhood based on this particular type of marketing. So I'm going to label it high sales score, or more than 6% mortgage, or no home loan, or whatever, right? We're going to label that. That way I have this list of dedicated people that I'm going to send particular marketing to. Now I can then go back and untrack that list to track another list of people in a different neighborhood, and then do almost kind of the same thing. So now this is a great way of being able to utilize your multiple printing labels without having to redo that type of search each and every month. Okay? So that's one way. Second thing that we can do with this. Anybody here have a CRM? Or know what a CRM is?
Yeah.
What's a CRM?
Management.
Customer retention management system, right? Very close, but yes, that's basically where we keep all of our contact lists, and of course we apply our action plans, right? Some of us have line desks, other people have contactually or Boomtown or whatever, right? Well, guess what I can do with this list? Because we've got homeowner information here, and maybe I have a CRM, what I'm now going to do, select them, and now I'm going to say, where is it? There's a button here. Oh, export to CSV.
Yeah.
So exporting to a CSV file, basically an Excel spreadsheet or a numbers document if you're a Mac user. Now what I can do with that CSV file, Excel spreadsheet or number spreadsheet, is I can now import it into my CRM. So now what?
Go from this document here to your
to Excel,
then to your
and then to my CRM.
Okay.
Because what I can do now when I do this, and say, you know what, I'm going to untrack everybody here just real quickly, just to show you, and just track a couple of people here, just to make it easy and convenient. Export to CSV. I'm now going to name it. And now I'm going to download. Now we'll give it a couple of seconds here. It'll notify me. I'll see this engage tool here come up with a number, or I'm sorry, notifications come up, sorry. And then what'll happen is I can then take that Excel spreadsheet, open it, and then be able to import it. But there is so much more information that will appear through this Excel spreadsheet. And hopefully this will come up real super quickly here. Manage labels. Let's see if I have an old one here.
There's a notifications up there at the top.
Yeah, do you see it? Yeah, oh, there it is. Notifications, number 1. There we go. This is a follow-up, unfortunately. Come on. I should see something already come up by now, but I guess not. I apologize. I don't have any people that I'm tracking. Awesome. Let's go back here. Those 3. Let's try that again. There we go. So here it says CSV for the high list is ready to download. We click on this. There it goes. Now we're going to open up that Excel spreadsheet. Now here's where we get to have a little fun. This gives me everything, but it's put it all in cells. So what I can now have is the property address, the city, the state, the zip code, the cell score, height, bedroom, bathroom, total square footage, lot square footage, estimated equity, property address, or property value, sorry. Here, you have a column for absentee. So it automatically gives that to you. Now there is a filter to look for absentee, but you have to pay REMINE for that filter. But here, you don't need it. All you gotta do is just track the properties, and this will tell you the absentee owner information or not, or if there's an absentee owner, right? Here we've got the billing address. So if it said absentee, yes, mailing address should be different from the property address. We also get to see owner 1 information, their first name, last name, email address. We'll also see if the property is vested in a trust or an LLC. We'll also see homeowner information number 2. Now what we can do with this is delete out rows or columns that we don't want in Excel. Then what we can do is when we save this as our unique file, then we can go into our CRM and download it into our CRM. Now I can apply my particular action plans or marketing plans to contact these people, or to give me reminders how to contact them based on what my needs are with this particular list. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So we can do that. Let's get back to Edge. All right, now to untrack, basically select, and then we can come back over here to delete. We type in delete, and then delete one more time because they want to make sure you're wanting to delete, and now those properties go away to make room for me to track other homes. So this is a way of being able to recycle our list to keep them available without having to pay extra. Now the paid services allow you to track more properties. I do believe the most expensive version of REMINE, which is about $200 a month, allows you to track 10,000 properties at any given time, plus a bunch of other fun benefits there. Okay? All right. Let's get back here. Any questions about tracking so far, or any questions about any of the filters so far? Yes, sir.
So if you don't delete them,
Then it won't let you track your next set of homes. So once you meet that 100 property limit, it'll either say you have to pay for it or untrack them. Now there is one other benefit for tracking, and that is under the engage, or I'm sorry, no, under the track, back under the track, we can look at notifications. Notifications will notify me of if anything that I'm tracking has changed. So as an example, if a property all of a sudden its sales score went from low to high or high to low, it's going to notify me out of my track list. If the property went from off-market status to on-market status, meaning it was just listed, now what I can do is do the appropriate thing of untracking that particular property, or change my marketing plan for that property that might have changed its status, right? But here we've got absentee status, so maybe this property all of a sudden that might be owner occupied all of a sudden goes absentee. And now again, I'm going to change my marketing to that person. So there is some advantage to keeping the homes tracked, but no, you might limit yourself depending on what you're doing in your business. Okay? All right. So let's go back to Discover. So say we also find the properties here, and we want to look at some information. So here what we can now do is hover over top of the property, click on the property itself. Here with the property selected, we see some information about the property. So off-market, estimated price, bedroom, bathroom, square footage. To look at more detailed information, just simply click on the property. Now this is where I like to say this is realist on steroids at this point. So now we're going to look at all the public data about this home. Starting with, when we click on the property, and it looks like they really reformatted the screen, but real quickly, we get to see a map view of what property we're currently looking at. We get to see a Google Street View of the property, which, lovely thing about Google Street View, we can actually just hover around and move around the neighborhood, go down the street, so on and so forth. We scroll down a little bit. We see off-market or on-market status, so listed or not listed, property address, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, and of course lot size. Here we get to see if there was an MLS number, so if it did say on-market, it would tell us what MLS number is listed in the MLS. Its sales score, its HOA fees, if they were paying HOA, estimated value, net equity, how long the person has owned the property, and of course who the owner is. Now, what's unique about this section here, if this was an absentee owner, next to the owner's name in big bold red letters would say absentee. Now here we see this person is ready to list their home probably, even though they've only owned it for less than 2 years, right? We can scroll right on down. We look at the tax information about a home. So it's tax year, it's tax bill, it's total land and improvement, which is kind of nice. We're going to look at the key stats. Here again, we're going to be indicated if it's owner occupied or absentee, if it's corporate owned or in a trust, yes or no, absentee owner, yes or no, billing address in case it was different, right? Structure, what kind of structure it is, how many stories, type of roof, utilities, heating, air conditioning, and water, right? Real quickly, not to go over everything here, you get to see if the property's in a flood zone. In Realist, you have to pay $1.50 to get the flood zone information. At least here, I get to see if it's in a low, medium, or high risk flood area, the map date, the type of zone code, and of course the map number itself. So I get all that information already. Let's see here. Coming down a little bit further, because I'm not going to bore you with the building features a lot, but what we do care about is the net equity. So here we get to see that there's a value, an estimated value at 9/11. So in this case, it looks like somebody owns this home outright because I don't see any mortgage information. So let's go back and find a property with a mortgage here in this neighborhood. And let's look for, oh, I don't know, mortgage rate. Let's look for the 6%ers or more. There we go. Let's click on that one. Click on it. Anybody like this so far? Good. It's kind of nice, isn't it? All right, so here, let's see here. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Net equity. Here we go. So, we've got net equity. Estimated value, in this case, this particular property is $1 million. Its current loan balance of $66,000 left on their loan. So their net equity will be $948, right? Now we come down below. They have an active mortgage. Now, by the way, Realist Tax Records just tells you how much their mortgage was taken out on with, right? But look at this one. This person has a $100,000 mortgage at 8%. They took out a HELOC loan at 8%. Their estimated payments are $734. They owe $66,000 on it. So here we get to see that type of mortgage information. In Realist, you don't get to see what type of mortgage they have, or you get to see that they have a mortgage, but not what type or how much they're paying or what their interest rate is. Here, this is all public data that you have access to be able to see all this. Okay? Now, if there was more than one mortgage, let's see if we have a property here back in our discovery list of properties. Let's go back to that mortgage rate, 6 more. Let's see if we've got one that's got more than one mortgage. Now that was a great one for HELOC. But if the property has more than one mortgage on it, you're going to see it. You're going to see each mortgage, who it's held with, how much they're paying in interest, and what their estimated payments are. So ideally, this is a really nice tool to be able to go and talk to these type of people. And of course, now you're going to take your sweet time to pull up this information. Okay, so this person's only got one as well, but they're paying 7%. So, and they're paying $485. I've seen 3 different active mortgages on one property. They had a first, they had a second, and they had a HELOC. Right? So now we can see all this to be able to have a good, proper discussion with the potential homeowner to see how else they can maybe get out from a couple of these. Maybe condense them together, maybe get into a lower mortgage rate, whatever. Or maybe all together, hey, it's probably a good idea that you sell your home to get into a better mortgage that would be cheaper and more affordable for you. Because I think I saw one that was like, they were paying $3,500 on the first, they were paying $1,800 on the second, and of course they were paying $800 for their HELOC. And I'm like, when all is said and done, they're paying over $5,000 in just mortgage payments, and they're paying more than 17% in interest. And they were like, no, it's only 4.5, or I think it was like 4.5. And I'm like, 4.5 here, 4.5 there, that's 9, plus this, close to 17. And I'm like, they're killing themselves just in interest payments alone on all 3 of these mortgages. So it's just a matter of how you want to be able to talk to somebody to get them to realize, hey, is there something that I could do to make my life a little bit more at ease without having to pay a lot of money? All right.
Anthony, do you find this to be more accurate than Realist? Because there's been times I couldn't find properties on Realist, and I have to go to the actual title.
They update about the same time frame. So every county, or I would say Realist and REMINE should be updating its records every couple of weeks, just because maybe he sold a property, but you don't see it on Realist or REMINE that it went in sale for 2 weeks. That's just the way they pull the records, how often they pull the records. So they should be updating at least twice a month. I would love to see lifetime updates, but I think until we go into the blockchain world where everything happens simultaneously live time, Right now, it's there. Now, I will say that if you happen to see something here on REMINE that contradicts Realist, give CRMLS a call so that way they can talk to REMINE to make sure that the records are up to date and accurate. But I find that this is just as accurate as Realist.
This is good.
So let's see. Oh, by the way, if we scroll down a little bit more, we get to see the schools. So what schools are in the area? Doesn't mean that they will necessarily go to this exact school, but they at least give you a few schools that is close by to the home. The valuation, here we got their estimated value based on these four entities: First American, Black Knight, Zillow, and eAppraisal. Right? I know a lot of people cringe when they hear the Z word, but understand, I get it. They're off by 20, 25 to 30% in all of its data. This is where a client needs to really sit down with you as an agent, because you can show them market realities because of the MLS. You can show them what people are actually listing for, what they're actually closing escrow for, and how fast they get into escrow based on properties like their home. Yes, sir.
So the values that REMINE gives are not too reliable then?
Not overly reliable, because I think of that one that could throw it off. But then that's when I go back into the MLS to verify what it is that I'm seeing. Because obviously we got clients nowadays that will say, well, I know it better than you, and this company says that my home's worth this, without even blinking an eye. Oh, are you the real estate expert? Do you know about this? Do you know about that? No. I just read it on the internet. It must be true, right? That's where it comes to our job to say, here's the proper education that you need to make a better, well-informed decision. Because I have access to the most updated and accurate information, this is why you want to listen to me, right? Based on the other properties that are exactly like your home, this is why your home, I think you even get this. Versus, say, some of these third-party websites that say, let's compare apples, oranges, bananas, and grapefruit. We need to compare like to like, not like and opposite. Okay? Scrolling down a little bit further, we got the demographics of the property history. Here we go. We got all the mortgages that has ever been taken out of this home. So going back to 1994, this property had new home construction loan of 7% for $173,000 by this company, and then of course in '98, 6.1, and then of course in '03 for 5.15, kind of thing. So now we get to see all the different various loans, and of course their information as well. And of course, lastly, most importantly, who resides in the home? Homeowner data. Now, the only thing that you don't see here, you see who's associated with the property, right? So here we have the Horns, but I don't see their phone number, email addresses, or whatever. This is where REMINE, if is going to charge you, but it's $3 for the house. So for $3, I'll get everybody who resides in this property, their phone numbers, email addresses, and social media. Now, if you're using another entity like Title, or you have some other verification software that you're already paying for to get people's information, then use that instead.
So if you pay the monthly fee, does that come with it?
If I'm paying the monthly fee, like the $200,
Yeah.
then yes, that's automatically included. Now, what's really cool about that $200 a month fee, I have seen here every cell phone number or every phone number associated with the person, and of course any of those numbers that are on a do not call list. Like there was one person that had 5 different phone numbers, and 4 of the 5 were actually on a do not call list.
You need to tell you that?
And it would tell you that.
Okay.
So, and it would give you their email address and Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn information.
What about the $99?
That one, I think it gives it to you at a discount. So I think you go from like $250 down to.
It's $199, then $99.
Yeah, it's like 99, or yeah, it's like $199, $99, and then something else. And we'll take a look at it. But I think the The lowest paid service doesn't give it to you. I think you still have to pay for the household, but it's at a discount price. I think for the $200 a month, that's when they start putting it in for free. Okay? And then of course you're tracking 10,000 properties too. Okay? Anybody like any of this?
Yeah.
By the way, if this was an absentee owner, I'll also see renters. So anybody who resides in the home that is getting their mail, and of course 18 and over. I've seen kids in here who are under 18, they're darked out and won't give you information. So obviously you're not going to call somebody who's under the age of 18 and can't sell or buy a property yet, right? So anybody over the age of 18 will appear here if they're a renter getting mail or has claimed this property as their primary residence. You'll see their information as well. I think I saw in one house 8 people. 4 of those were renters because it was an absentee owner. So I saw the husband and wife who were the owners, and then the other people that were renting. $3, you get everything. Or in the $200 a month, you get everything for free. Anybody like that? Are you guys overwhelmed already and you're ready to go home? All right. Pretty much. Excellent. Not that I want to hear that, but just that's good. All right. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break before we jump into InfoSparks? You guys.
I do have one other question.
Oh, yes, sir.
On multifamily, what consists of multifamily? It's 2 to 4?
Yes, 2 to 4 units.
Can you just narrow it down to like 2 units?
No. I don't think so. Let's see here. Let's look at where you see multifamily at?
To the left, after you select the area.
It's the type, right?
The building type. Yeah.
Building type. Yeah, unfortunately, no. It's either multi-unit or multifamily. So yeah, that would be 1 to 4 units. Because other than that, it would be land use.
2 to 4, because single family is on the top, so that's gonna be 2 to 4.
Now, you could go to land usage and say, I want to find the commercial properties, as well as the industrial. So you could actually point out the differences. So the commercial would include 5 and more units, like the apartment
But going to
buildings
2
and
to
stuff.
4, then I would just.
I would do multi.
I wouldn't put residential, would I? Put
Um,
residential in multi.
Sure. You can do as many of them as you want. So here we're going to say, show me the residential, right? We're going to hit apply, and then we're going to go to that building type of multifamily and then apply. And now we've got nothing because their tax records are classified as single family only or condo. So it's the multifamily is what's been like their land usage. So typically like your duplexes and stuff like that, like out in Long Beach, would be multifamily land usage. So that's where that would come in at that point, just like realist.
Okay. The last question, if I'm on a desktop,
Mm-hmm.
here I was able to pinch
Mm-hmm.
on the desktop. Is there where I can shrink it to see it?
Yeah. Plus minus.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to generate reports here?
Well, no.
No?
No, only the track list. That's the only type of report that you can generate at the moment. Yeah, at the moment. Let me double check the marketing. I think that's a paid service. Yeah, that's a paid thing. The beta features are coming soon, so they don't, not yet. So probably soon. Probably soon.
What is engage?
Engage is when you're tracking the properties, right? So here you can click on the engage and see how you would need to probably engage with people. And actually, with your buyers and sellers, it's almost like when you buy the list, they'll be put into categories that you can now sort them in. So here's the seller of this property, and you can now kind of say what you're doing and to engage with them, if that makes sense. So like, what are the steps that you've done to engage with this person? I've called them, I've text messaged them, I've emailed them, right? And now they're a not only a seller, but now they become a buyer, right? Or I've solicited buyers because I talked to the renters in that absentee home who now want to buy a property, so how have I engaged with them? So it's almost like a very, very simplified CRM, but that's where I think you exporting that information into your CRM will be far greater than doing something like this.
How about the notes?
You're just making notes. Right now, I think that's blanked out because it hasn't come out, but you make notes on certain homes. Maybe you were there and you noticed that according to the tax records, it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but they've owned it for 20 years. They've now added it to the property, like made it a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, but they didn't get it assessed. So we make notes about those properties. Okay? Any other questions? All right, why don't we take a quick 5-minute break? I'm going to stop the videos here, and then I'm going to restart again for our next class.